It's really all hands on deck here in this community because they have 1 day to evacuate. Right here, this is the water pump. Put my hand up next to it, you can see just how big it is. You're back here on weekends for one night.
So nice to be with you again on the weekends.
Mr. Harper, you're choosing to ignore me and you're also choosing to ignore parents. They are loading students into these buses and taking them to a different school. Shut down Tennessee State Highway 216. That's because of all of this water. So what do you call banana peels that you wear as shoes?
Banana peels that you wear as shoes?
Yeah, slippers.
Uh-huh.
You kill the bees, they leave behind the honey, and that will drip. Hard to call them a break-in because people are just simply leaving their doors unlocked. Gunner, high five, high five, woo, high five for winter.
So where are Grace and the other adults tonight, Leah?
They're still in that home tonight because what Community Options Inc. was going to do is illegal. The Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services says they have to remain open until all of their residents have secured a new home. So this is a big win for the families, but that doesn't change the fight that's been happening for weeks to ensure that the Bloomingburg's 23-year-old autistic daughter wouldn't just be dropped off at a hospital. Hidden in plain sight, there are homes like this for adults with severe developmental disabilities who are trying to live normal lives.
She's 23, probably has the mentality of maybe a 2-year-old. She's slightly verbal. She's a very sweet girl.
Bob and Janet Bloomingburg say their daughter, Grace, needs 24-hour supervision. She lives at this home owned by Community Options, Inc. for now.
It was just more than we could handle as a husband and wife.
These homes are closing. They were given 30 days notice. They say it's not enough time to find another home for her. The Bloomingburgs say they were told whoever didn't have a place to go would be dropped off at a mental institution.
My daughter is mentally disabled. She's not mentally ill.
There are only 4 adults living in these homes. I wanted to know why the nonprofit would leave without making sure they were in good hands. The nonprofit is based out of New Jersey, so I called and called.
Hi, Brian. My name is Leah Shields.
And called.
Hi, Brian. This is Leah Shields.
They finally sent a statement saying they have, quote, no choice but to close the Kentucky operations because of funding issues. Yet the nonprofit had excess revenue of nearly $5 million in 2017 and total revenue of more than $162 million.
We don't want a company that operates the way that they've operated. If that's what they're about, then we don't need them. We just want them, like he said, to fulfill their obligation to our daughter. She's more than just money from the state. She's a human being.
Their mission is to support people with disabilities. Janet wants them to keep their promise.
And it's an ironic name. It should be Community No Options because they pretty much left us without any.
I have not been given a closing date, but remember, like we said, they have to remain open until all of the residents have secured a new home. Live in Paducah, Leah Shields, WPSD Local 6. After weeks of investigations and charges involving employees of a local school district, a letter arrived in the mail.
Rumors the district funds were used for a vehicle and its gas, used to pay for a condo, funds used to pay for meals for both he and his wife. So that's what I went over to look at.
Butch Bradley is the attorney for the McCracken County School District. He got this anonymous letter a week after McCracken County Sheriff's Department held a news conference about the investigations.
And no stone is left unturned.
But he wasn't the only one. McCracken County Sheriff's Department, Kentucky State Police, and WPSD all got a similar letter or email. Bradley sent his letter to the McCracken County Board of Education and the man in question, Superintendent Brian Harper.
Board chair said, see if there's anything to it. And that's what all the other board members said, hey, see if there's anything to this. And I did, and I came in the next morning and asked to see it, went to the central office, asked to see the documents.
Bradley got those documents from Jonna DeJarnett. She's an assistant superintendent and director of finance. She says she did not do the investigation because Harper was her boss.
So that would be, you know, it could be a little bit uncomfortable to have to investigate your boss.
I can tell you, in Mr. Harper's defense, I mean, I was surprised. I thought this would just be a waste of time. And I thought, well, I'll run over to the central office, I'll get the credit cards, and you know what I found. You've seen the documents.
Before Bradley launched his investigation, we had been probing into the letter's allegations for more than a week. Through a public records request, we were able to find the paper trail. Superintendent Brian Harper requested 5 vacation days. He even told the board he would be in Florida with the baseball team, even signing an authorization form telling the board how much this trip was going to cost, then submitting a requisition form for the district to pay for this trip, even signing it himself. And all the receipts are right here. Harper had the trip to Florida booked on October 6, 2017, paid a $350 deposit with the school credit card. He'd been superintendent for about 3 months. The balance was paid in a later charge, and the resort received a school check before Harper even left on the trip. He submitted and approved all the school paperwork for the reservations, submitted and approved his own time off request, and on 2 different documents referred to the trip as traveling on behalf of the school teams. Harper was at the Destin West Vacations Hotel in Florida from March 31st to April 7th, 2018. Now, the school district paid $1,858.50 for a Gulffront condo for 2, plus about $150 for gas to get there and back in the school district-owned SUV. Harper's contract said he was only to use the SUV on school business. If you're on vacation, that's not possible. Same is true for the lodging and any expenses on that trip. DeJarnette says they have checks and balances in place, but that the person who approves vacation and the person who approves purchases wouldn't cross paths.
No, that's a different function. That's more of the payroll side of the finance office, and those other things are the purchasing and accounts payable side, so those are different people.
Chair of the school board, Steve Shelby, compared all this to a natural disaster.
I mean, this is like a tornado that hit, okay? We did not know about some of the things previously until it happened. Bang.
Shelby won't say much because of the ongoing criminal investigation that KSP has opened using the same documents we've got. But Bradley says he presented his investigation to the board and to Harper recently, before Harper resigned on March 9th. As for what comes next, time will tell, because Shelby will not.
I am sure that any incident that happens where there may have been some kind of misappropriation, or that will be looked at thoroughly. And how it will be done, I don't have privilege to that right now. We haven't had a board meeting.
As for Harper tonight, the number we have for him has been disconnected.
The number you dialed is not a working
and we could not reach him for comment on this paper trail. In McCracken County, Kentucky, Leah Shields, WPSD Local 6.
Local 6's Leah Shields is tracking down where your tax dollars are going. Leah, how common are consent agendas?
Well, consent agendas are not a new practice. Other cities do use them, but here in Paducah, they have only been used since Mayor Brandy Harless took office.
Thank you very much. Please join us in the pledge.
For 2 years and 3 months.
Items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the Board of Commissioners.
The Commission has been approving items through consent agendas. $25,000 here, $300,000 there.
The consent agenda items are just a great, efficient way of running a meeting.
City Manager Jim Arndt helps put together the agendas. Commissioner Richard Abraham says they get the agendas the week before the meeting.
So you got plenty of time to do your footwork on it.
But how much does the public know? With the consent agenda, if you're in the audience, you may not know how they got to these decisions. But if you're on the commission, you probably know how you got to this decision and where the money's going. The city manager says you're saving time, but you're losing open discussion.
I mean, you got to do your homework, but there's opportunity there to find out what you need to find out.
I did that homework today. I pulled all of the consent agendas since Mayor Harless took office. I found millions of taxpayer dollars approved.
I'll ask the city clerk to read the items recommended for approval, please.
In 2017, the first year this was in place, close to $5 million were discussed, approved, and moved around. In 2018, more than $2 million. In the first few months of 2019, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I make a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented.
That's just what I could count. Some items didn't list prices. So you're saying there should have been the cost?
Yeah, we probably should have put a cost in to be more transparent what the cost is.
You have a right to know to the last penny where the money's going.
Abraham says they post it all online and you just have to do your own research.
Okay, so what did Mayor Harless say since she implemented the practice?
Well, I scheduled an interview with her, but when I showed up for the interview, her assistant said she went into another meeting and we had to talk with the city manager today.
Okay, Leah, thank you.